Good evening, everyone. My name is Gary Williams, owner of GE Williams Management Group. Today, I'm here to talk to you about corporate culture, what it is, how it's defined, how you fit into corporate culture, and who defines corporate culture. So, again, I thank you for joining me today to learn a little bit about corporate culture, what I do as a consultant, and how you as a leader can uh, have a greater impact on your employees, therefore leading to better results down the road. So first, we have to ask ourselves, what is corporate culture? Corporate culture refers to the beliefs and behaviors that define how a business's employees and management interact and handle outside business transactions. Again, how managers and employees interact and handle business transactions. So, in other words, a management employee's relationship with let's say, the supervisor or the frontline employee impacts the overall efficiency of your operation. So, for example, if a management employee is known as a micromanager and you have an employee works in customer service, working particularly hard, knows his or her job, does it very well. However, the management personnel is always over their shoulder. That's going to create tension within the environment, hence a soured relationship, and it can affect that worker's productivity, which again will impact the organization um, down the line. So that's something as a leader we want to avoid. And with this presentation, as well as future presentations, I'll show you exactly how to do that. So the next area here we want to talk about is the cog in the machine. For any general employee who's a part of a small to large operation, they are specifically a cog in the machine. Every single player, every single piece of the pie, whether it's management, whether it's supervisors, whether it's frontline employees or senior management, each person or each area of the organization is a specific cog in the machine where they have to work uniformly in order to improve or in order to have some sort of positive impact. In this case, growth, profit. If one area of the machine, i.e. the cog, does not work properly, it impacts the entire machine and it breaks down and it delays any processes or any flows that may be in motion, hence negatively impacting your overall operations and your business. So being a cog in the machine is to first have an understanding of what your role is in the organization. What is my job? What am I here to do? How can I impact the viability of the organization? And that Q&A can occur from the smallest person to the highest levels of management. For example, within an organization I'm very familiar with, the senior leadership, it's very hands-off. They typically don't attend meetings. They don't interact with mid-level managers or individuals that are beneath them, so to speak. So some time has gone by and they've noticed that there's some issues with the way their company is running, i.e. they're losing money and they don't know why. So with that being said, that same senior manager went to junior management employee and said, hey, why is our business down? I see that we're losing money hand over fist. What's going on? The junior level manager has a broad answer and says, hey, well, this is what's going on. We noticed that some of our practices aren't performing to the extent in which they should. We receive data from a particular source, and the data is not matching up what our performance goals are as they've been documented to be. So then the senior manager says, well, how do we change that? The junior manager says, I don't know. The junior manager goes to the lower level manager and says, hey, these are the numbers that we have. How do we change them? The lower level manager says, well, we've experienced difficulty with getting into the practice. We've experienced difficulty with providing timely data. We've experienced difficulty with getting our members to connect and engage with that particular practice as they should. But instead they choose to go a different route, and hence leading to higher costs, higher administrative costs. But I have no solution. Fine. The junior manager says, all right, go to your frontline employees, find out what's going on. The low-level manager goes to the frontline employee and says, hey, these are the numbers. Looks like we're not doing well. Can you tell me what's going on? The lower-level employee says, oh, this is what's going on. Although we're having data issues in terms of transferring data from our organization to the provider, we've sent in numerous requests stating that same exact issue. However, no one has responded. Hence why there's been a tremendous delay in our ability to give them timely data to effectively manage our stakeholders. Second, we've had meetings on numerous occasions where key individuals did not attend. Hence, no one from the mid-level up knows what's going on. Therefore, they can't put together their heads or put together any resources to solve the issue. So you see, from senior manager to junior level manager to lower level manager to frontline employee, the story differs. And the explanation for those same issues differ based on who you talk to. So in terms of corporate culture, that, imaginary scenario shows that there's a broken culture within that particular organization because no one talks to anyone. So therefore, that machine, those cogs, are stuck in a rut and therefore not able to effectively move forward because each side does not know what the other's doing. So with effective corporate culture, it includes being able to step down to the frontline employees level and gain an understanding of what they're experiencing. Because with that experience, that can enable you as a senior level manager or junior level manager to put some processes in place to redirect the progress or redirect the direction of your company. All right, and as we continue, we want to briefly discuss, before we close, just address the question, who sets the culture? From an organizational standpoint, in this case, the leader, i.e. the top level manager, would set the course for an organization, for a given organization. And per the example that I just provided regarding the process flow in terms of information and how that gap in information, that gap in knowledge between various segments of an organization can negatively impact your bottom line. So with knowing who sets the culture as a leader, you have to not only be invested in the broader goal of improving the bottom line or expanding your organization or adding various segments to your business to broaden your reach in a particular market. You have to be vested in your employees. And I have 3 particular points that I'll go over that will highlight how a leader can impact the culture of their organization in a positive manner. So the first item of question is get to know your employees. And I know it sounds very simple, but no need to reinvent the wheel here because a lot of managers don't get to know their employees. They treat them just like employees, cogs in the machine, that are there to do a specific job and to earn money for you or advance your agenda, and then they go home. You give them a paycheck and they go home, which is the totally wrong way to do it. It may work for some organizations. In many cases, they luck out and it does. But you're missing a lot of opportunity there when you don't take the time to invest in your employees in terms of time and just even sharing a kind word or two. So when I say get to know your employees, you have, let's say, for example, you have Mary, works in customer service, been in that position for 6 years, been a model employee, mostly on time, has been very productive in her position. And, I think it would be in your best interest as a leader to get to know her, to say, hey, I see you've been in this position, you've been working hard, I appreciate what you do. What can I do to make your job easier? Because as an employee, as a manager, when you work to make their job easier, it benefits you and it benefits your company or the company you work for. So getting to know your employees, having an understanding of who they are, what their likes, their dislikes are about the position, where the barriers are, and also being vested in their development as not only employees but as people. You tend to gain a lot more credibility as a leader that way, and that's something that I personally believe that many leaders lack. They're more focused on the end goal without really thinking about the gray area. So that's where a lot of us management personnel types end up dropping the ball. So one of the key things here with investing in your employees, it doesn't mean giving them a $10,000 bonus and sending them to Barbados. That's not an investment. It's a nice thing to do, but it's not an investment. As I mentioned, with the pros and cons of the position, I'm experiencing trouble with X, Y, and Z. Okay, fine. That could be a number of things. That could be issues internally with a specific coworker or sub-organization or their immediate manager, or it can be a knowledge issue, something that they're missing in terms of their skill set. And by getting to know employees and knowing where their deficiencies are, that gives you the opportunity as the leader to say, hey, I see you're struggling with some of these mathematic concepts that's a part of your daily job function. Would you be interested in taking a course in, basic accounting at a community college? We have tuition reimbursement. We can offer that, help you out. You can take it online, etc. Knowing that for an employee, that means a great deal. Even though, they may end up having to do more work outside of work. But if you can convince them that it advances their objective in terms of being a model employee, but also can prep them for something bigger, that goes a long way. And that's something that many leaders fail to do. And I think with the concept of corporate culture, it's very important that all sides are engaged. I'm not expecting perfection because there's no such thing. It's just something to aspire to. But I think all pieces of an organization should be at least in some form of communication and have an understanding of who's doing what, how it's being done, where the gaps are, and what they can do collectively to make things better. So again, my name is Gary Williams, owner of GE Williams Management Group. This is part one of a multi-segment lecture on corporate culture. If you have any questions, I can be reached via email. It's pretty long, but just take it anyway in stride. It is Gary, Gary _E, as in Edward, _Williams, at gewilliamsmanagementgroup.com. Again, it's Gary, _E, _Williams, at gewilliamsmanagementgroup.com. Again, I thank you for joining me tonight, and I look forward to receiving any and all feedback that you may have to offer. In the meantime, take care, peace and blessings, and I'll be in touch.